What's going on, y'all? This is Greg. Greg said it. Back with another one here. Inspiration and motivation, second of the day. Once again, another wonderful live. And a great conversation. Colorado ended their first week. And here we are going into week 2 of a very important, very extensive fall camp. Get everything right for week 1 against North Dakota. And I find it interesting. Had an article sent to me. BWAT sent me an article, and I saw that somebody, I don't know, it may have no weight, but I just find it interesting. Just the rhetoric around Coach Prime in Colorado. It was that Coach Prime is creating a violent, chaotic culture, and it's kind of oozing out of the locker room. Even though, what the footage they were showing, what they were talking about was on the football field, which is perfectly normal in football. It's one of those aggressive, even violent sports. And fights happen. I played it. It happened all the way through, from Little League all the way to college. And it happens in the pros as well. It's perfectly normal. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's something that comes with that type of sport. And the way they wrote it, it was like a hit piece against Coach Prime in Colorado, that they're not getting along. He created this environment. They even showed a snippet of him asking them to fight, so to speak, about, if you see a fight, don't walk away from it. And, the interesting part about it, that wasn't Colorado. They was like, the little peaceful team last year. Everybody pretty much bullied them around, hit the quarterback after the play. You've seen situations where they hit cheap shot, when we see Colorado State, when they hit Travis Hunter. And we just seen a lot of things where a lot of onlookers, fans, whatever you want to call, were very upset, felt like they just was getting pushed around and it was soft. And that don't go well in football. And, it kind of played into the mentality that people had towards them, or even the reputation Colorado had. And a lot of people felt like that's why they lost, even though a lot of their games were very close. And maybe that could have got them over the hump. At least that's what some people may have felt. So to see them a little more aggressive, a lot of people like that, especially when it comes to football, and the mindset that you want to see. And when you see people kind of twist that and twist so many different things, they twist so many things to create an image for a guy for whatever reason, right? It's kind of shameful because, yeah, it's like publicity. Some people say all publicity is good publicity, but you really ain't having nothing positive to say. And like I said, the only reason you have access to this stuff is because they're making it accessible. And they're putting it out there for you, for entertainment purposes, for their fan base. It's not for you to try to flip it against them. Other programs are not putting it out there for you. They're not giving you access to the ups and downs and the process they're going through with their team. But when you look at Colorado, you have the well-offs, rich people, pre-game show. These people right there, they're showing you the behind the scenes of college football. And it should be something, it should be positive. It should be taken with gratitude, because one of the top teams in the country is giving you insight where you can see what's going on in a normal day of college football for the average person who's never done it. And to make it negative, it's like, wow. You can't really control what people say about you. You really can't. Sometimes you say, be nice, you do that. You can't control that. But at the same time, it shows the passion behind building something. It shows the fight you have to overcome. When you look at a team like Colorado, who was 1-11 the year before, and it was 4-8, and one of the key indicators was they had no fight, they had no grit. It's like they didn't care. They didn't care when the quarterback was getting hit and sacked all over the place. It's just like they didn't care, and people were bothered by that. It's something that fuels in you when you want more in life. You're willing to fight. You're willing to grit your teeth. You're willing to be aggressive. And although they tried to make that a negative thing, especially on the football field in life, you have to have that at some point. Sometimes you got to have that I refuse to take no. Or if I get a no, I refuse to quit. You got to have that fight in you to be willing to fight for something. Be willing to fight for something that you stand for. Not get pushed around, and you're going to earn your respect. And I know sometimes we look at it, I know spiritual people say, oh, you know, we don't have carnal weapons, and we don't fight like that. And that's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, at some point, you got to make a decision that you're going to stand for something. You're going to stand for what you believe. You're going to stand for yourself. And that can be taken a lot of ways in itself. But at the end of the day, you got to learn to show that you're willing to do what it takes. You got to show that you mean what you say. And in football, it comes off as being aggressive, being confident, and not allowing people to push you around. You don't want to allow people to push you around, because ultimately, it doesn't end well. It doesn't end well when people don't see your passion. They don't see that you care. You lose respect, or they lose respect for you. And at the end of the day, it makes everything a lot harder. It makes everything a lot harder when people feel like you don't really care. You're not willing to stand for it. I mean, you think about when people are in school and people get bullied. They typically bully the person who don't stand up for themselves, who don't have a backbone, who won't say, hold up, that's not going down. They don't typically bully somebody who's going to stand up for themselves. And the beautiful thing when it comes to Colorado, it looks like they're going to stand up for themselves. It looks like they're going to stand up for each other. And that's a good sign of a team. That is a trait of success overall. It's like a universal principle. You stand up for what you believe, but you also stand up for what you want. You can't say you really want something if you're not willing to put 10 toes down, like say Coach Prime. He said he got what, 8, 7, 8. You got to be willing to put your 10 toes down in some form or fashion. Unlike football, it may not be physical, but it may be in your time, your investment, your energy. It may be in your verbal expression, but you got to be willing to fight at the end of the day. And like I said, we're Colorado, our Colorado fans, our supporters, that's a good thing. You know, when you invest your time and energy to look at a certain program like we're doing, it's very frustrating when it's like they don't care. You don't want to support nobody who don't care. They have to care at the end of the day. And they got to care more than you. Or else you're going to find yourself a new team. You're like, forget this. And, you know, winners, people support them because they know they care. And they're going to fight their hardest. They're going to put in that work. So that's what we expect out of Colorado this year. We expect a winning season because they got a winning attitude. So with that, I'm Greg. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and I'll be talking to y'all real soon.